Tom. Yes,
Can you hear
so
me?
I can hear you loud and clear. Can you hear
Oh,
me?
I can't hear you. I can't
You
hear
can
you.
hear me. You can't hear
Yes,
me. All right.
I
There's
can
a,
hear you. I
you
can
can hear
hear
me.
you.
Awesome.
Yes, yes,
Awesome.
yes.
Awesome. All right. So let me bring up you can see the PowerPoint. Can you?
No, I'm not yet. I'm not seeing it.
Not yet. All right. So let me make that happen. So,
Okay.
so there are two ways of doing that. I can do the advanced and I do point of screen and I do share. All right. So I'm gonna
Okay.
make this big. I'm gonna make this this full screen. Now, can you see my screen? Can you see
Yes,
the
I
PowerPoint?
can. Yes, I
Awesome.
can. Yes.
Awesome. All right, so let's run through this. Chidi, you're welcome. Chidi's here. All right,
Oh,
so
hi, Chidi.
yeah, it's still connecting. So welcome to another day on this, the book club. We hold this every Sunday.
Hello,
Hey,
everyone.
Chidi, you're welcome. All right, so I'm going to do my quick pitch here so you can come on. We've been going through chapter 2 for the last this is the third week on chapter 2.
Yeah.
So yeah, the first one we talked about choose satisfying work. We ran through all of that. We ended up at in a good leading last week, and I'm trying
Yeah.
to get to the slide I ended up. I think
Yeah.
this was about where I ended up last week. And let me
Okay.
quickly run that to close that up so you can come up and do the third part of this chapter 2. So we talked about the second purpose, and we said it's divided into 3 parts. Said the trinity of needs, right? To
Yeah.
do I find the work satisfying? Can I make good money out of it?
Money.
And does it provide useful service? Anything we do, these are 3 questions that are going to eat at us. Is do I find work satisfying? Is it something that makes me satisfied? Something inside of me connects to it, right? And sometimes it might not be, right? Because that also depends on the circumstance you are in. In a war situation, for instance, you do whatever. At the end of the day, you must be doing something, whether it's satisfying or not. You must be doing something. Like Oprah Winfrey would say, right? Do what you have to do till you do what you want to do. You must never be at a point in your life where you are not doing anything. Just be on the barrel. What will I do? What will I do? I mean, that's stupid. Life requires you to do something. Because if you don't do something, heaven cannot support you. You must be doing something. Whether you have already found something that is satisfying or you are still working there, do whatever your hand findeth to do and do it well on your journey to finding what will satisfy you, right? You also want to get a good reward, right? You don't want to work for the sake of working. It is righteous. It is right. It is a just thing to do something for money or reward. Sometimes that reward is physical. Sometimes it is metaphysical. But whatever you are doing must give you reward. Don't do it for the sake of doing it, right? Doing it for the sake of you doing it is wasting your life, because everything you give to do what you are doing is your life, right? Time is your life. It's a quantum of your blood, right? The blood you give to what you are doing. As you give the blood into what you're doing, that is your life. That is your life. I'm trying to cover everything so that Treasure can come and do the dead part. But don't work for the sake of working. Either that you are paying you money, or you are getting something metaphysical. You are connecting to heaven. You are providing service that you know that God is showering blessing on you. But never do work for the sake of work. It's either you are getting benefit physically, maybe it's money, favor, whatever, or you are getting benefits metaphysically. You are satisfying your God. So you know that your God is saying, do this, right? It is righteous to get a reward. Anything otherwise is foolishness. I'm going to run up. So Favor will come and tell us about how to provide useful work. Just to close out on the any good leading part. My time's up. Let me take some few seconds here. It says, there is no best career. No, there's no best career. Every career is good. I've seen people read Yoruba and they became executive. Even me that read engineering. Right. I'm not executive. So there's no career that hits the button. Is whatever you find to do that your heart that you can do well. If you can do it well, it will take you to heavens. People don't achieve because they don't put their all into it. It's not the career.
Yeah.
It's not the name. It's you finding something that you can put your heart into, and it will take you to heaven. Right? It doesn't matter the name, right? And so that's pretty much it in terms of that. So I'm going to all right. So you have to put the whole of your heart to it. So so talks about commitment to excellence and all of that, and climbing up. And key thing, as you work, like I said, in all I've said, you have to grow to be good at it and show it. So Treasure, this is where you start. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you so much. You're already firing me up because I was
Yes,
really
sir.
helping to start,
It's a
So
body.
it's interesting, and I'm glad we're looking into this book as a bit controversial as it can be, but then this is life. You have to draw life into where you are and who you are and what you're doing. And the truth is that many of us have lived our lives and suddenly we get to a point and we're like, what's the meaning of life? Some of us find it, some of us don't. And so far, so good. We've been told to grow up, smart up, and so on. And we've been encouraged to find our calling, our career. Like you said, it might be the same, might be different, but always there's a calling, there's a career. Like we've been told, the career gives you money. What do you do to make money so that you can live on this earth? Well, very well, but of course, sometimes you might think it's not enough. But whatever you have, make the most of it. You can't sit and be complaining. Or you find a calling somewhere that you serve people. So today we're looking into how do you provide that service? But I've found out that whether you are in the career or you're in the calling or you found two of them in one place, somehow you get to a point, you just have to find a way to bless the people around you or find people to bless. Because if not, you're going to be frustrated. That's the truth. You're going to end up not being happy. So what I'm saying is we will know examples of people who are at the top of their careers, like Aki mentioned. They might just have little in our minds, in our thoughts, but they've gotten to the top. There are people who say, no, I'm not going to be pushing out to make money. I'm not going to make money. But they say, oh, I'm going to find a calling to serve people. And then they end up not having money and they're miserable. Or they don't even know how to make money out of that, what they call, because there's no way this life talks about money. Yes, there are other rewards in life, but money somehow is the principal way we exchange, value, resources, and all that, and so on. So whether we start at finding a career or a call, somehow, one way or the other, two of them must be together. Or sometimes we find, so in each one of them, I've also learned, even reading here further, that you must serve, and not just serve, you must give useful service. And that's what we're going to delve into today. And service actually, to a very great extent, is talking about leadership. It's talking about leadership. I know we think that a lot of us grow up coming into a point where we are made to believe that leadership means you are better than the next person or you're better than the people you're supposedly leading. No, not so. Like Jesus would say, in Mark chapter 9, if you must be great, if you must make that difference, Mark chapter 9, 34, Mark chapter 10, 44, you just have to serve. And the way up to leadership is serving people. Have you found your calling? Have you found your career? Have you grown up? Are you smart enough? And all that, are you putting in the work? Are you able to make decisions then, here and now? Whichever way it gets to a point, even if you have the whole world at your feet, you're able to have all the money, you're able to do all things. There's no way you're going to be happy if you're not serving the next person. I've said it, money is just one currency, one way of rewarding, one way you get a reward in life. There's favor, there's even prayer it's a currency. Even when you make a decision and you end up making the right decision, it's a reward. it gets to a point at work, you must lead, you must serve. When I say serve, I'm talking about leadership, because when you serve well, when you give useful service, you tend to see that people want to copy you. And that is why in this slide here, this first slide, it's saying, as a leader, you inspire by example. What does that mean? By the things you do. That means first, you must do work. Two, you must do it well. Whatever your hand finds to do, Solomon would say, the preacher would say, do it with all your might, with all your strength, with all that is within you, whatever you find to do. So even sometimes when you get to amongst thieves, amongst evil people, you see them doing good work in their mind. But the truth is that we're not just talking about just doing good work. We're also talking about choosing. Aki has mentioned it. You can't just sit and say, I can't find what to do. There's always something to do. But what I'm saying today, you must serve usefully. But for you to do that, you have to, be a good example. You have to do it well. Whatever you find to do well, because people are watching you. So you are leading wherever you are. I think that's what I'm trying to say. You are leading wherever you are. You might be small in your eyes. That's not the issue. You might be fantastically big. Whatever it is you are doing, whatever decision you're making, you are leading somebody. It might be your children. It might just be, the truth is, might just be the walls in your house. But bear in mind, somehow somebody's going to find out, because whoever you're becoming is who people you relate with will see. So you serve, you lead by inspiring others. Dan Millman is saying, it is the only way. Albert Schweitzer says, when you influence others, example is not the main thing, it's the only thing. An example, what do we mean by example? Please, when we say example, it's not, oh, I'm going to talk, therefore let me behave this way. No, it's that thing you are doing here and now. That's the example you are. You are not something, suddenly they tell you, oh, you're going to preach tomorrow, then you will not sleep. You're looking for encyclopedia, you're looking for concordance, you're looking for so many other things. It is that thing, who you are, that is the example that you are. So from where we started from at the beginning, we're saying, grow yourself, train yourself, if you must lead well, because to serve usefully means that you are leading. You are leading already. John Maxwell would say, everything begins and ends, is the leadership. Everybody leads. In what way we are leading. So number one, we're saying, if you must give useful service, inspire by example. And bear in mind, is the only way you can lead. Be that servant leader. Whatever you are doing, you are leading. So serve. Jesus says the way up is down by serving. He himself gave the example, was an example. He led by example. There's nothing he's telling us to do that he's not doing. Matthew chapter 11, he says, come, learn of me. I'm lowly and meek. My burden is light. My yoke is easy. He's the best person to say, hey, this is the way, walk in it, because he led by example. Till tomorrow, he's still leading. Whatever he's telling you to do, the Bible says, hey, he went through all these things, yet without sin. That's how good he is. Please, can I have the next slide? Thank you, sir. So first, to give useful service, let's inspire the people. In short, inspire yourself, lead yourself, and inspire, yourself. We're also saying, for you to have give useful service, we don't have so much time, so I'm going to really be running. Respond as quickly as possible. If you must give useful service, if your call or your career that you found, if you're growing up, you're smartening up, is going to help anybody, please, can we get up and go? I define long before I saw it, I had defined responsibility to mean the ability to respond. That ability. Of course, we go further to say the ability to respond properly. And here we're saying to respond quickly. And quickly does not mean in a hurry. Neither does quickly mean in a rush. Quickly does not mean haphazardly or anyway. It just means, hey, if there's a need to give useful service, do it now at the right time. Don't delay. Yes, it's true. Jesus delayed concerning Lazarus, but he could see. He's not like us. We are the ones learning. Yes, sometimes you might see there's a need for you to delay. Then that means you are sure that your response has a timing at a particular time, then you have seen something. But please respond as quickly as possible. And not just to respond, as quickly as possible. When you get there, remember we're coming from somewhere. Don't just get there and do anything. No, there's nothing like anything if you must give useful service. Please give the best that you can. Okay, we're saying here that momentum is what differentiates the expert and successful and failure. Someone who is an expert, who is successful, momentum, that means, of course, in momentum, you're talking about moments now. In momentum, you are talking about good work, doing excellent work. We have looked at that in the past two weeks. Doing excellent work, giving it your all. You must be good at what you do, at what you do. So if you are good at it, give it, and it has to be useful to the person. So if you're going to give something to someone, the scriptures will say, if there's a certain sound of a trumpet to give us notice about something, let it be clear. Let it be clear. If you come to help me, if you come to give me service because you are leading, that's the leadership you can give at that moment. Can I understand what you're saying? Can you help me understand? Let it not be ambiguous. Let it not just be anything, but let there be, clarity. But of course, you can't be clear as a leader, as a servant in giving useful service if you yourself don't even understand what's happening. So for us to live truly, I'm saying that for me to live truly, to find this purpose, this second place of finding purpose, I have to give back. Bill Gates is very rich. Warren Buffett is excel. All of them, Mark Zuckerberg, the Bezos, check it. They have everyone that's extremely rich, not just in money, even in graces, even in ability to preach, to minister, even in the place of doing miracles, in the place of teaching. Somehow you have to find people to give back to, so communicate clearly, make it help us to understand. Don't be ambiguous. Lead us. Let's all lead one another in speech, in what we're doing. Let's be clear about what we're doing. At work, in what we call the call, that somehow we're saying money is not involved. But I personally believe that whatever you're doing, Aki just mentioned it, give it your all and find usefulness in the service. Okay, the third thing we want to talk about. Are you the fourth or third slide?
I'm on the third slide.
Okay, on my third slide. Okay. So here we're talking about motivation. When I got here, I began to say to myself, I thought of the word motive. Motivate. What's your motive? What is your motive? And here we're talking about being we set higher purpose. Somehow by the time you learn, there's no end to learning. There's no end to learning. You get to levels and levels. They're fundamentals, but like I said at the beginning, whatever your hand finds to do with all of you. Give it your best shot. Don't do it shoddily. Because if you do it shoddily, you will not learn well. Therefore, you will not serve well. It will not be useful service. These things happen concurrently. It's never, when I get to this time, I will learn this one. No, they happen at the same time. And that's what I'm saying, even in the career or call, whether they're together or you found two of them at the same time or one after the other. If you have a mindset of, I'm going to give my all, whatever I'm doing. And that's why I brought the issue of even those that are doing evil. When they give it their all, Jesus told the story about the shrewd servant. Someone was doing bad, he had done bad. And when he heard his master was coming with a reward that he's not happy with, he knew what to do. This is someone that we would term very treacherous, someone that would term very bad. But Jesus commended him. Why? Because that he found himself to do, he was doing it well. In quotes. So it's like, this is a good example. This man is living by example. So we're saying set higher purposes in every level where you are leading. Set high purposes. Don't just stay in one place. That means you two are growing. I want to point that out, that in giving useful service, please bear in mind it's for your own good too. There's something you are getting out of it. It might not necessarily be money. Money is not the only reward. Yes, it's the very big one we can see easily. But there might be other things. Satisfaction. We have talked about satisfying work. We have talked about you making good money. Of course, we've said that good money is relative, very relative. But whatever it is you are doing, that it brings that satisfaction. It can bring satisfaction to you. Also, we are saying here, hey, as you are leading people, because we're talking about giving useful service, they're not giving useful service just to yourself, they're giving it to the next person, to the next people, a people that come to you, a people that you find. Please be aware that a lot of mistakes will be happening. Do appreciate that. Do accept, and like we said, be quick to fix the mistakes where there's a need. And also, we are here saying, because you are dealing with other people and even yourself, we need some. God said, love your neighbor as yourself. Listen, and listen. How do we say it now? Be aware of your environment. Be aware of what is needed. Listen to the next person. We've been here for some weeks. We're doing things together. Somehow, if you listen, you have learned. Each one of us will have learned different things because we are different people. And still, they all come to bear in making us the servant leaders that we should be. And also, we're saying, please, be sincere. That's the word I use. I say, be genuine. Be real. Be real. Know who you are. Know what you can give per time. Know how you can give it. Don't forget motive. Why are you doing what you're doing? Check if this helps you to check who you are. And it grows you, like we said previously. It grows you in the point of when we're responding. Be sincere. It grows you when you want to provide, because it gets to a point you see that you think that's where it ends. No, when you start serving, when you start providing useful service, when that is your mindset, you find out that suddenly you are meeting situations and circumstances that make you go back to get trained, to grow. So that means don't be insincere. This is you. Again, we're talking about accept and fix your mistakes as quickly as you can. What does that mean? Oh, don't be afraid that you made a mistake. Don't be afraid that you fell. God will say, righteous man will fall 7 times, he will still get up from it. What does that mean? Let where you are meet up with where God is. God is our perfection. God is able to help us in every situation. If you are not real, God is the realest being I've ever met. If you are not real, because I believe that spirituality means reality. You are very realistic, but it's God's reality, meeting your own reality. Most times it's God saying, hey, I'm perfect, I'm there, I've gone through all. You exchange. In Psalm 37, the Bible says, if you delight yourself in the Lord, he will give you your heart's desires. I believe what happens is that as you delight yourself in the Lord, he begins to exchange himself with you. Then you think like him. And then 1 John chapter 5, verse 14 and 15 says, if you pray according to his will, he will answer you. If you know he has answered you, he has done what you're asking for. What he does when we spend time with him is that he begins to renew and he transforms us by renewing our mind. We begin to think like him. And the next thing we're beginning to know what we should do. And I think that's the only place where, you can get to, and God can show you which way in the future. Which way you don't get, there's no confusion in God. So as we're finding ourselves, as we're giving, serving, let's bear that in mind. And the final slide, please.
Final slide, but let's quickly take questions before you finish the final slide. Any question? Any question? Anne, please let me check the chat. Is there any question there? Or is anyone open to have any question right now?
No, there's no question.
No question. All right, finish the last slide.
Okay, so we're talking about be authentic, be sincere, keep your promises. Let where you are be where you are. The truth is this: as you are going on to give useful service, because when we talk about service, we're talking about human beings. You're not going to be serving the furniture in your house. Those are tools you use to serve. You are going to rub off on people for good or for bad. That means when you are doing that, questions are going to come up. Situations are going to come up that will make you, of course, Amos 3:3 will say, two cannot work together except they be agreed. As you are serving, you are leading. Let's bear that in mind. Maybe that's why Jesus, who knows all things, and understands all things. I know we think leadership means I'm better. No, doesn't mean I'm better than you. It means that I have taken time to know something I can serve you with. May I serve you? So in our bid, as we're going on, we're saying here, please try to understand people. And I think I like that injunction of life and life itself. Be a student of life. That my time to be up. Be a student of life. As you are relating with people, we're saying encourage collaboration, not competition. The truth is that is what we see, competition all over the place. But we've moved into a different life where we're understanding, therefore, collaborate with people, find where you can help them, and also notice where they can help you for us to receive service from one another. Don't just think now. Think of people, you are relating with these people for the next 50, 70 years. In short, it got to a time in my life, I'm married, I have children. And I told myself this truth. I've known my family for some 50 years, and I still have issues with them. Then when it comes to my in-laws, you will expect, or the in-laws expect you, or you expect them to be perfect in one day. No, you're just getting to know them. So it's going to take a while. Be patient. If it took you some 40, 50 years, you still have issues with your own immediate family. How much more in-laws? How much more co-workers, colleagues? So as you're serving people, give useful service by thinking long-term relationships, not now. In the now, remember, sometimes it's not going to be so smooth. But if you have the mindset of, oh, this is for a long time, you're going to be forgiving, you're going to be very patient. And at the same time, of course, when we're learning life, he said, and life itself, you get emotionally intelligent, and somehow because of this mindset, sincerely, you become a better student. You learn better and better. And that leads you to the point whereby, you lead so well by, let's remember, we live by who we are as an example. Therefore, what we are doing, sometimes the thing that we thought was bad, suddenly, like God will say, he works all things together for us. It becomes something encouraging. Why? Because at a point where emotionally intelligent, which also brings us to the point of forgiving one another, whereby we forgive, whereby we realize that, hey, this person could have done this, but didn't mean evil to us. Because we're serving, we suddenly realize, hey, we are more patient, we are more accommodating, we understand people better. And even when we don't understand, because we're Christians, we tend to want to pray for one another so that whatever the situation is, it's dispersed. Yes, I know some of us are still at the level where it's tough for us to just understand that people are not meaning us evil in life. It's not always, like that. So many times in our lives, it's actually for good. People are wanting the best for us. And maybe that is why when they push us, it looks as if, oh, this is tough. But it's actually for good if we look at it, So we encourage one another. We find ways. There are so many ways in which we do that. But if we don't have the mind of that, we're serving people, we want to provide useful service, we could break the relationship, and that's where it ends. And we go to the next one. For how long are we going to do that? For how long? But here we are. We've been in what we're doing together for some weeks. Week in, day out, week in, week out. Even the book club. Somehow we show up, and whatever good or misgiving, the truth is at the end of the day, because we're considering the next person, we're accommodating the next person, we're willing to give another chance, we become better. So I don't know. Let me, let me stop there. And
great. We have just one more minute to go. Any question? If anyone has any question on all what we've shared, the key thing at the end of the day, useful service, like I always say, the biggest thing I learned from management school when I went to do my MBA is that quote or that saying by Peter Drucker. And Peter Drucker says that the essence of any organization is not within that organization, but outside of the organization. Yes. The essence of your being is not within you, but what you provide for everyone around you. That is the essence. We are not here for ourselves, right? Even though we're here for ourselves. We're not here for ourselves, even though we're here for ourselves. Because everything that takes place within me is for the essence of service. That is the only way we give glory to the one who has created us. If everything you do is just about me, myself, you are useless. So, that's why God had to take the life of that man, that rich man in the Bible. He says that he was already rich, but now he has more product. Instead of thinking about how to be of useful service, he said, let me build more bad. Let me be bigger. It's all about me. So God said, you are useless now. The reason why you are here is to provide useful service, is to be a blessing, is to add value to your environment. So when we stop adding value to the next person and to our environment, wherever we find ourselves, we become useless. We are not worthy of another second of living. So the Father might just say, hey, come on, you have finished your service. But when you are useful to everybody around you, God wants to give you more life because you are fulfilling purpose, So
I have a question. My hand is up.
All right, quickly, let's do a quick one. We're already 1 minute past.
Yes, please. Yeah, please. So I had that quote of Luke 12:20 about the rich young fool, the rich fool, But what I want to ask us is, in case we or anyone we know is stuck in being so full of ourselves, how does one get out of that lane and move into a point where you are not growing for yourself? You are not growing. In short, you know that it's for the next person, for the people around you, people you must find to serve. How do you leave that lane of selfishness, of self-centeredness, and move into the lane of grooming yourself? That actually motivates you to get up and go for the next person. For yourself, you might sit down there and be wasting time. But in case you're at that level where, there are different levels, you might do well in level 1, class 1. And suddenly you get to class 10, you become a fool, a foolish man. And then how do you move out of that lane and keep motivating yourself to like you're saying, that useful, to become useful, so that God will be happy with you, so that indeed you have meaningful life? How do you get out, just in case you get stuck?
All right. There are 3 ways in which we respond to life: the way we think, the way we feel, and what we do. Let me repeat that again. There are 3 ways in which we respond to life: the way we think, the way we feel, and what we do. All 3 are interrelated. If you do any one, it will affect the other 2, right? So the reason why people are in depression and people are sad is because I'm thinking about me. That's the only door that leads to depression. That's the only door that leads to being sad. When you stop thinking about yourself and start thinking about other people, you will rejoice. If you look at your circumstance, all you have to think about is another man that is going through worse circumstance. All I need to do is bring you someone that is going through a worse circumstance, you will rejoice. If you are complaining about you don't have a shoe, and I bring you someone that has no leg and is yet rejoicing, you will rejoice. The reason why we go into depression and are sad is because we're only thinking about ourselves. All right. And it comes from those 3 levels: what you think about, how you feel, and what you do. Right. So the only way to change that is to do any of those 3. Start thinking right. If you think right, you will feel right and you will do right. All right. If you cannot take it from that level, start just exhibiting the feeling other than the feeling you have. Start trying to be happy, be joyous. When you are joyous, it will affect the way you think and to affect what you do. Or if you can't do the first 2, just start doing right. Say you can't think it, you can't feel it, just start doing what you think someone that is joyous would do. If you do what the person that is joyous will do, you will feel right and you will think right. So you can approach it from any of those 3 angles, right? Is the way I think, the way I feel, and what I do.
What I do.
Any of those 3 will get you on the right path. Did I answer your question?
You tried, but I think
let's take it offline. I'll call you. We'll settle your question. Then I'll put it on. I'll put it out on Facebook for everyone to get it. But let's just shorten it so we don't hold people back. We're already 5 minutes past when we should be closed. All right.
Thank you, everyone.
I love you all. We'll see you next week Sunday. We'll be going to chapter 3.
Good job, sister.
Thank
do chapter 3
you.
for 2 weeks.
Thank you.
Thank you. So have a good one. God bless you. Forgive me.
Bye.
Extra 5 minutes. Bye-bye.
Bye.